Hello everyone, welcome to the series on MCQs of medical statistics. The first question is, sampling variability can be numerically expressed as sampling variability, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, standard normal deviate or standard error. So when it is sampling variability, the variability which is related with the sampling, then it is known as standard error. Gradation of symptoms is an example of which scale? Okay, now we know that there are 4 scales of measurement: nominal, interval, ordinal and ratio scale. Nominal scale is related with the naming or grouping, names, or we give titles to the groups. Interval scale is related with the quantitative data. Ordinal scale is again qualitative data in which there is some order is there, okay, ascending order or descending order. And then we have ratio scale. In ratio scale, again it is for quantitative data, but there is absolute 0 in the ratio scale. That means 0 is the absence. Absolute 0 means what? 0 is absence in the ratio scale. So these are basically 4 scales we have. Now talking about gradation of symptoms. Gradation of symptoms. Gradation means what? We are giving grades to the symptoms. Suppose we want to find the intensity of any symptom of a patient. Then what we do? We grade, we level the symptom as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we try to find the intensity of that symptom. So this gradation is nothing but the ordinal value. That means there is some order is maintained there. 0 means there is no pain. Suppose this is related with the pain. 0 means what? Suppose no pain. 1 is very low pain, less pain. 2 is moderate pain, and 4 is what? Severe pain. So there is a order. There is a chronology order. Scale of order is there. So this is what? Ordinal scale. When there is a gradation, then it comes under the ordinal scale of measurement. Okay. Then we have Fahrenheit scale is an example of. Fahrenheit scale is an example of. Now Fahrenheit is what? It is temperature. Okay. So it is an example of interval scale. Gender wise distribution is an example of which scale? We have seen that nominal scale is what? It is related with the groups. So gender is what? Gender is again the group, title, male, female. So when there is no order, there is no chronology, there is only different distinct groups are there, then this is what? Nominal scale of measurement. Like blood group. Blood group of a patient is what? It comes under nominal scale of measurement. Since there is no chronology, no order is there, or no any exact value is there, we just classify our data in the different groups. So gender wise distribution is one of that example. It is nominal scale of measurement. Respondents have adequate time to give well thought out answers. See, in which method of data collection? The methods of data collection are observation. By observing a particular thing or experiment, we can collect the data, or by taking interview, or by questionnaire, or by schedules we can collect the data. There are different methods of data collection, as we know. So when respondents have adequate time to give well thought out answers, is which kind of data collection procedure is this? It is questionnaire. When we provide questionnaire to the respondents, they will get some time to give well thought out answers. In the interview, what happened? They will not get that much time to give answers. Okay, so questionnaire is the method of data collection in which respondents have adequate time to give answers. Then we have secondary data. Secondary data is what? The data collection methods are two: primary data and secondary data. Primary data and secondary data collection. In primary data, what happens? We go and we collect data by ourselves, or we do any experiment and we find the findings about our research project. So primary data is the data which we go and collect by ourselves, but secondary data is what? The available data. Someone is already recorded the data and we are taking that data for our study. So the secondary data is already collected by other group of people or agency or hospital, and we are taking that data for our study. That is secondary data. So the secondary data is what? Already collected by some other agency. Correct. A processed data. Correct. A finished data. Correct. So all of the above is the answer. Then we have histogram. As we know, there are some different charts and graphs to present our data. So histogram is one of them. Histogram can be used to determine mean, mode or median. So suppose this is histogram and this is what? Frequency. Y-axis is denoting the frequency or the number of elements in that particular class. Okay, so the highest value is what? The most occurring value or the most repetitive value, and we can directly see the highest value by just seeing at that histogram. So the mode is what? Mode can be determined by using the histogram, since the highest bar will represent the modal value. The highest frequency of the data set is nothing but our mode. Then median. Median is what? Median is positional average, which can divide our data into two equal parts. Median is positional average which can divide our data in two equal parts. Okay, so the mean of first and last value? No. Most frequent value? No. Most frequent value is what? Mode. Least frequent value? No. Middlemost value. So the median is middlemost value of our data set, which is known as positional average also, and which can divide our data set into two equal parts. Which of the following is least affected by extreme values? Now, as we have seen, median is the middlemost value of the data set. So it is only related with the middle value of the data set and not the extremities, not extreme low values and not extreme high values. It is only related with the middlemost value of the data set. So it is least affected by extreme values. So the median is the answer. Which of the following is true? We have one relation: standard deviation is equal to square root of variance, or we can say that standard deviation square is equal to variance. So this is our relation between standard deviation and variance. Statistic performs functions such as presentation of facts and figures, forecasting and planning, controlling and exploring, all of the above. So statistic perform all of these functions. Which scale uses the concept of absolute zero? Absolute zero, as we have seen in ratio scale. Ratio scale is about quantitative data. Quantitative which is measurable. Quantitative data is measurable data which can be measured by using particular scale. Suppose weight, height. These are some measurable values. So absolute zero is what? In which absolute means was absence. 0 kg is what? Absence of weight. 0 centimeter is what? Absence of height. Like that, absolute zero means what? When 0 is having no presence. So this present in this possessed by ratio scale. In similar way, as we know, 0 degree Celsius is some temperature which is present. 0 degree Celsius is some temperature which is present. So this comes under interval scale. Interval scale is also about the quantitative data, measurable data, but where 0 is possessing some value. Okay, so it comes under interval scale. So here is the example. The measurement of height and weight are made on ratio scale, since they both possess absolute zero value. Which of the following relation is true? Now we have one relation between mean, median and mode, which is that mean minus mode is equal to 3 into mean minus median. This is the standard relation between mean, median and mode. Now median of, we have data given here and we have to find the median. First step to find the median is what? We have to arrange our data set in ascending order or descending order. So let's we arrange this data set. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, first step is arrange your data set in ascending or descending order. Then find whether number of elements are even or odd. These are total 8 elements, so this is even. For even data set, we get 2 middlemost values. Okay, for even data set, we get 2 middlemost values. We have to take average of these 2 values to find the exact middle value of the data set. So the average of 37 and 37 is find out by 37 plus 37 divided by 2, and that is nothing but 37. So the median is 37. In standard deviation, the deviations are taken from. Now, as we know, standard deviation is the most commonly used measure of deviation. And the formula for standard deviation is square root of summation of xi minus x bar square upon n or n minus 1. So, what we have taken here, xi's are our elements, and these elements are the deviations of these elements are taken from mean value of all those xi elements. So the deviations are taken from mean value. That means the distances di's are of xi's are taken from the mean value of the data set. So in standard deviation or in variance also, the deviations are taken from mean value. mode is the most frequent value, middle most value, maximum value, minimum value. So mode is what? Mode is the most frequent value of our data set. Mode can be 1 or 2, or there can be multimodal data also. Suppose one value is repeated maximum number of time, then we can say that particular value is nothing but the mode of our data set. But suppose there are two values which are repeated maximum number of times, same number of time, then we can get two mode of that data set. Same if we get the multiple items which are repeated same number of time, then we call that data set it as a multimodal data. In standard deviation, the deviations of the observations exercise are always taken from, as we have seen the formula here, the deviations are taken from same question asked above. The observations exercise are taken from, the deviations are taken from mean value, always from mean value. Response of patients regarding hospital facilities recorded on 5-point Likert scale. Suppose we are taking feedback of patients, okay, so and feedback is taken on 5-point Likert scale. Then which type of scale is this? Ordinal. We know that if there is a order maintained, then we call it as a ordinal scale. Gradation of symptom, same. If there is a gradation, there must be some order, and it comes under ordinal scale of measurement. Scatter or dot diagram is also called as. Scatter diagram is what? When we plot two variables x and y, suppose let's say on a graph. So this is what? Scatter diagram, and this is used to find the correlation between these two variables x and y. So scatter diagram is also called as correlation plot, as we get to know correlation between two variables x and y by using this diagram. Which is the simplest measure of dispersion? We know there are different measures of dispersions like range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, mean square deviation, standard deviation, variance. There are various measures of dispersions. So the simplest measure of dispersion is what? Range. And standard measure of dispersion is nothing but standard deviation. The most commonly used measure of deviation is what? Standard deviation. Okay. Thank you.